Good morning, champions. I'm Josh Zepess. I'm a freedom fighter and creator of Broke is No Joke, which is a movement towards true freedom. And just a pleasure to be here. Very honored. I'm going to provide as much value as I can in the next 30 minutes. So let me go back, before we get started, let me go back to that first statement, good morning, champions. Those of you who know me know that I say good morning all day long. It could be 10 o'clock at night. It could be 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning. Doesn't matter. I'm saying good morning. See, I'm guessing somewhere along the way, someone probably told you that good morning has to do with time of day, but it doesn't. It's a decision. It's a decision to clean the slate. It's a decision to start over right now. So did anyone have any challenges 10 minutes ago, an hour ago, 3 hours ago, earlier today? If you did, think of that as yesterday. Let's just call that yesterday. It happened an hour ago. The car doesn't want to start because it's been sitting for 2 weeks while we're in quarantine. You know what? That was yesterday. All that bad stuff that happened in the past, that was yesterday. Let's make a decision right now to clean the slate, start over, especially here with what we're going to talk about with goal crushing. And if that's the case, if today's a brand new day, if right now is a brand new day, then it's appropriate to say good morning. So good morning, everybody. But let's get to the heart of the matter here. I also called you all champions, and I don't take that word very lightly. I don't know when the last time you were accused of being a champion, but I don't think that happens too often in our society. So, and I know some of you are thinking right now, what's this guy talking about? He's calling me a champion? What is this guy? What is he smoking? What is he talking about? He doesn't even know me. He doesn't know that I'm 2 months behind on rent. He doesn't know that my kids don't talk to me too much anymore. He doesn't know that I just lost yet another job. You're right. I don't know you, but I know you. I know where you came from. Look, I don't know what your beliefs are, but I think we can all agree that as human beings, we all came from the same source. And whatever that source is, that's the source of greatness. That we were born for greatness. We were born with everything we need. I actually have a white paper out, by the way, about cage theory that goes into the science of this. But we were born with everything we need to succeed, to be an entrepreneur. And little by little, we're actually conditioned on how to fail. We have to learn how to lose. And here's the good news about learning how to lose. If you can learn how to lose, we can forget how to lose. So we don't have to accept our greatness. We can shirk our responsibility. We can hide away. We can do that. Here's the thing. That's what I did for the first 37 years of my life. I wasn't always a freedom fighter. Before this, I did 20 years. I did 20 years of staring at gray walls, 20 years of being on my best behavior. You probably know what I'm talking about. Yep. Corporate America. And here's the thing. I don't have a corporate America sob story for you. I was actually successful. I was an engineer. I spent 20 years climbing the ladder, doing the right thing, multi six figure by the end of my career, stock options, parking space, all that kind of stuff. I did everything I was supposed to do with the degrees and get the safe, secure job. And then one day, everything I thought was right wasn't so right. I wasn't as happy as I wanted to be. I wasn't as wealthy as I needed to be, and I sure as heck wasn't free. So my favorite F word today, by the way, is freedom. It was a different F word back when I was in corporate America. I'll let you all figure out what that was. So yeah, my favorite F word today is freedom. So I escaped. I had to, and now I've devoted the rest of my life to helping other people escape that endless, pointless, self-defeating cycle of their own personal or business rat race. Because I believe the truth will set us free, and that's what it's all about, exposing the things that we're not supposed to know. So let's talk about goal crushing. So first of all, what is it? Well, let's talk about what it isn't. It's not goal setting. Goal setting is a great thing, and it's a wonderful thing to do, but it's an activity. That's just an activity. Goal crushing is a mindset. Goal crushing is about how we approach it. Einstein supposedly said, I don't know if this is probably not verified, but he supposedly said, if you give me an hour to solve a challenge, I'm going to spend the first 55 minutes determining the problem and then the last 5 minutes on the actual solution. So I always believe in starting with the problem. What's wrong? Why don't we crush our goals? Why don't we just crush our New Year's resolutions? Why don't we make our life happen the way we want it to? So let's look at what's actually happening. By the way, I do some sales training, and I do training for entrepreneurs in the financial industry. And the number one mistake I see folks make, if you're in sales, this applies to you, is we try and sell the solution. We try and sell our product. We talk about how great our product is. And really the key is we have to start with the problem. Sell the problem, offer the solution. You know, it's kind of like trying to sell me, I've got my little bottle of water here. It's like, you're trying to tell me how great this water is, right? And I'm telling you, wow, it's filtered, it's minerals, it came right off of God's tears or something, like is this some special water? But if you don't think you're thirsty, if you don't know that you're dehydrated and it's affecting your performance and affecting your income in your life, do you really care how good this water is, right? Of course not. But if we can agree on what the problem is, we can agree that you're dehydrated and this is the issue. If someone can convince me of that, then I'll take any water. You could take water out of the toilet and I'd probably buy it for $500 a gallon, right? So it's just really getting to the core of why aren't we succeeding when it comes to our goals. So here are the statistics. 75% of us give up on our New Year's resolutions by January 31st. 92% of us give up on our goals by the end of the year. Think about that, 92%. And let me make this very clear. The statistics don't say that 8% of the world or 8% of our country accomplish their goals by the end of the year. The 8% are just the ones that haven't yet given up. So what's going on? What's happening here? There are a lot of reasons why we don't accomplish our goals, but there's only one. Let's do a quick hypothetical, little thought experiment here. So you can close your eyes if you want, you can leave your eyes open, but I want you to imagine you're in a room, no windows, no doors. In the room next door to that room is a loved one of yours. Could be a mom, could be your kids, it could be a really good friend, just a loved one or two over in that room next door. And then you start to smell smoke. They start to, you hear them choking, you hear them saying, hey, there's a fire in here, help us. You know they're in danger. What are you going to do? I'm guessing you're probably going to find a way to break through that wall and save them. Like there's not going to be anything else on your mind except breaking through that wall and saving your loved ones. Or you're going to die trying. That's kind of the only two options if you think about it, right? We're either going to break through and save our loved ones, or we're going to die in the process. It doesn't, and here's the funny thing, people ask me all the time as a coach, it's like, how do you overcome distractions? How do you overcome all this other busyness and stuff that goes on? Let me ask you a question. In our little scenario here, do you care what's on TV at the moment? Do you care what's on Facebook, social media? Do you care that maybe you're late to your job? Do you care that there's COVID-19 going on out there in this scenario? Of course not. You're breaking through, you're dying trying. So nothing can stop us. When the stakes are high enough, nothing can stop us short of our own death. So if you're going to take any nugget away from our talk, and I've got a lot more stuff I want to share, please let it be this. The reason and the only reason why we don't accomplish our goals is because we set goals that are not worth accomplishing. I'll say that one more time because I think it's that important. The reason we don't accomplish our goals is because we set goals that are not worth accomplishing. So what I want to do for the rest of the time, I'm going to keep an eye on the time here, is I want to bring as much value as I can here. I want to share 3 questions that we must have the answer to if we want to have any chance of succeeding and achieving our goals. These 3 questions, think of these as the foundation questions, right? There's a lot of things we have to do to achieve our goals, but without these 3 questions, without the answers and the proper answers to these 3 questions, we're going to have a really hard time building a career, a life, our health, whatever it is, the way we want. So I want to share these 3 questions with you, and we'll deep dive into each one. And this will be fun. And if there's time at the end, I'm happy to help with questions. So question number one, the first question that we must have the answer to is, what exactly do you want? What exactly do you want? It seems like kind of a simple question, an obvious question. I get it. But what's interesting is this is one of the first questions I asked my clients, and so few of them actually have an answer to it. And it surprised me in the beginning. I was like, Henry Kissinger said, if you don't know where you're going, every road will get you nowhere, right? Like, how can you achieve it if you don't know what it is, right? So it just surprised me when I started sitting down with people and I realized that people don't know exactly what they want. And here's the thing with exactly what you want. It's what exactly. Can you see it? Can you smell it? Can you taste it? Can you hold it? Can you feel it? Do you have that vision? Can you, and I don't mean with eyesight, I mean with mind sight. Can you experience it as if you already have it? Is it that clear? Do you have that level of clarity? Because it's easy to say, I just want to be rich, right? But what is rich? And if you had a lot of money, in your opinion, what would you do with that money? Always translate money, dig down a little deeper to what you would do with it. Experience that life you would be living if you had that amount of money, for example. So it's getting really, really clear. Now, here's the thing. I had to dig deeper into that question. When I realized people didn't know what they wanted, I dug even a little bit deeper. So I want to know why. Why are we not asking this question? And what I found out was tragic. I started probing and I found out that people would tell me, well, Josh, yeah, I want great things. I want that nice house. I want a nice life. I want happiness. I want all these things. But where I am in my life, where my opportunities are in my business or my job or where I am, I don't see anywhere getting there. Why am I going to think about these great things that you tell me that I should be thinking about when I see no path to get there? So we stopped asking the question. As a society, a lot of us have given up on that question. That's why we don't have the answer, because we're not even asking it, because we don't see a way. And that's tragic. That's hopelessness. And I hope you guys aren't there. If you're there, there's a way out of it. But we need to first figure out, if you could have anything, what would that be? So having vision is crazy important. So you've heard the phrase, seeing is believing, right? And I used to believe that, but that's actually not true. Categorically, I disagree with that. Seeing is not believing. If you've ever seen a magician make a coin disappear, did that coin really disappear? You saw it disappear, but did it really disappear, or was it sleight of hand? Right? It was just sleight of hand. That's all it was. So seeing isn't always believing. However, let's flip the script. I'm going to submit to you that believing is seeing. And let me prove it to you. This pen right here, this exact pen, the one in my hand, how many times was this pen built? And I don't mean this style of pen or this color or type. I mean this exact one that I'm holding in my hand. And I've asked this question to a lot of audiences, and I get answers from 1 to like millions. So I've seen the gambit of answers. But let me suggest that this pen right here was built 3 times. You see, you would probably agree with me, this pen did not just pop into existence, right? It didn't just go poof, right, and show up in my hand. It didn't just pop off the assembly line somewhere. It had to start first as an idea in someone's head. Someone had to have an idea for a writing instrument that had, this style and this shape and a little clicker on the end here. Someone had to first see it in their mind. They had to first visualize it, like, here's an idea, right? Second time it was built was on paper. It had to be drawn out, schematics. What are the materials? What are the dimensions? How does this little clicky thing work, right? I don't even know how this stuff works. It's great. I just like that it works. So second time was on paper. Third time, it was physically manufactured off a plant somewhere, right? Probably in China, right? Don't worry, everything here is sanitized and all that stuff. I know that's very, very bad quarantine joke right there. So Sonda was right. I am a comedian, just not the funny kind. Okay. So you see, if we can't see it here, if we can't see it in our mind, we're probably not going to be able to hold it in our hand. That, my friends, is the power of vision. That's why knowing precisely what you want is so, so critical. So I'm going to give you a challenge for this one question. In fact, every question I'm going to have a challenge for you. You didn't think you would get out of this without homework, did you? Right? So, okay, here's the challenge. I'd like you to write down one thing, and you can do it right now or save it for later, but one thing that if you were to accomplish it this year would make the entire year worth it. One thing that if you were to accomplish it, you can look back on December 31st and say, you know what? 2020, with all the challenges, was still a pretty good freaking year, right? What's that one thing? And then I want you to take that one thing and I want you to be as clear about it as you can. Like describe it, write a story about it. Do a day in the life, write a day in the life of you and that thing, whatever that thing is. It could be a physical thing, it could be an emotional thing, spiritual, whatever that is. I want you to live it on paper, and then live it in your mind, okay? All right, question number two. Question number two that you must have the answer to of these three questions is, why must you have it? Why must you have it? Now, there's a lot of folks out there, well, you've heard the question before, why do you want it? Why do you want it, right? And that's a good question. Mine's a little different on purpose. Mine is, why must you have it? And here's what I mean by that. If you don't get it, if you fail, who's going to be hurt? Who's going to die? Who's going to go starving? What is the consequence of you not achieving it? And so this is, when I work with clients, this is another question I like to ask, because I just say, look, okay, you want this thing, great. But if you don't get it, like it just doesn't happen, or you don't get it, or will life go on? Will things just, will life go on again? Will things be okay? If the answer is yes, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, you're going to have a really, really difficult time achieving that thing. There's got to be consequence. There's got to be something of importance there. So if, by the way, if that's where you are, if that's where you're like, well, I guess life would go on, maybe go back to question number one, reevaluate, step it up a little bit, think a little bit bigger, find something that's a little more authentic to you, that's in your heart, that's important to you. Because if you're okay with not having it, it's going to be really, really hard to achieve it. So it's kind of like the gym buddy concept, right? You know, you want to get in better shape, right? That's one of the things people like to do, is they want to improve their health. And 4 o'clock in the morning, alarm goes off, and you're like, I'm tired. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't know. I just want to sleep. And then we hit the snooze a few times. We're like, you know what? I'll do it tomorrow. And then I'll do it tomorrow. And then we do that every day, and then no good, right? But what if we had a gym buddy? What if we had someone that was waiting for us at the gym? 4 o'clock in the morning, alarm goes off. We're going to get our butt out of bed. We're going to go to the gym. We're going to have a good workout. We're not going to like the workout, but we're going to do the workout. And then afterwards, with the endorphins running, we're going to look back and say, thank goodness I went. Thank goodness I went. I just got one step closer to my goals. I feel better. It's impacting the rest of my life. My self-belief just went up a notch. My identity just went up a notch. And I'm ready to tackle the world, as opposed to what could happen if you never actually get out of bed, right? So it's really, really important to know your why. And your why could be you. You could say, I just want to do it for me, and that's okay. But let me challenge you. Find a why that's greater than yourself. Find something bigger than yourself. So it could be a family member. It could be a friend, a dear friend. It could be an enemy. I actually am a fan of having enemies. And I don't mean people, not people enemies, the thing enemies. So one of the things I appreciate about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is that he had two very well-defined enemies. His enemies were inequality and poverty. And he literally gave his life fighting to eradicate those two things, right? My personal enemy is harmful ignorance. So you can have an enemy, all right? But here's my challenge. Here's the challenge I want to give you on this. I want you to write a letter to your why. I want you to write a letter. I want to start off, this is what I'm doing. Here's my goal. And you are the reason why I'm doing it. It could be to your kids, to your mom, to your friends. If you got to write it to yourself, write it to your enemy. It's okay. I have a letter I wrote out to ignorance and told it what I'm going to do to it. I won't read that here. It's not polite. But so write a letter. And at the end of that letter, I want you to say this sentence: I will never let you down. So if it's to mom, and mom, this is what I'm doing, and I'm doing it for you because I want to help you with this, this, and this. I promise I will never let you down. Sign it, send it to that person. Take a picture of it, keep it for yourself, but send that letter to that person. Because here's the thing, that 75% I talked to you about in the beginning, the 75% that give up by January 31st, and the 92% that give up by the end of the year on their goals, they're not giving up on the goals. That's the facade. They're giving up on their friends, on their family, on their loved ones, the people that were counting on them to achieve that goal, and or they're giving up on themselves. But you can't give up on a goal. You can only give up on the reason why you're doing it. So take that as a challenge. And like I said, if you can't write that letter, because that's a hard letter to write, right? That's not easy. If you're not serious, that's a hard letter to write. If you can't write that letter, go back to question 1 and redefine, rethink what you truly, truly want. And it's got to be something you're willing to die for. It's got to be something you're willing to commit to at that level. Okay, third question, last one. Third question is, so by the way, the first 2 questions are the most difficult typically. They're most challenging. What do you exactly want? Why must you have it? If you know those first 2, the third question is a lot more simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. And it's, how are you going to get it? How are you going to get it? So they say that if you know where you are and you know where you're going, the middle will figure itself out. And think about it, that's kind of true, right? If you're in Florida, I'm in Florida right now. So I'm in Florida, I want to go to Colorado. I just need to start heading northwest, right? And now I can take a plane, I can walk, I can somersault, I can cartwheel, I can swim. There's all kinds of ways how I can get there, but I at least know the general direction. And if I keep moving in that direction, I will eventually get to Colorado. So I can always evaluate where I am, and then I know how to get to Colorado. So the how always figures itself out if you know where you are, and you know where you want to be. But there's 3 parts to the how that I want to share that I feel are important. The first is information, right? You got to know the information. You got to know what to do. And here's the good news. The good news is we're in the age of information, not the age of wisdom, but we're in the age of information with Google and all this kind of stuff. I promise anything you want to do has already been done before, or something very close to it. So the what part of that, like what exactly to do, the information is out there. And as far as wisdom, that's a whole different thing. In fact, my martial arts master gave me the definition, or the difference between knowledge and wisdom. He said, knowledge is knowing that tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it into fruit salad, right? So that's kind of the difference, right? It's how you apply that knowledge. So go find that knowledge. And so I would challenge you to find a mentor, find a coach, find someone who can help guide you the right way. Because my number 1 piece of advice, if someone says, Josh, give me 1 piece of advice out of all this stuff that you advise, or you know, or you think you know, right? Give me 1 piece of advice. It's always this: don't listen to broke people on how to become wealthy. And we can expand it. Don't listen to the unsuccessful on how to be successful. Don't listen to the unhealthy on how to be healthy. You guys see where I'm going? So be careful of the source of information, especially when it comes to people we love and care about. Like, I love my dad, right? He's a great family man. He's the hardest worker I know. That's where I get my work ethic from. But he's never owned a business, and he's never been wealthy. So I'm not going to say, hey, Dad, how do you become wealthy? How do you start a business? He's just not the right person. That takes nothing away from him as a person. Just in that instance, he's not the right person. So make sure when you ask for advice, it's not just based on familiarity, but it's based on competence. Okay, second part, I'm running out of time here. Second part is the action of the how, is action. Is obviously, we got to start dirty. We got to get going, right? When it comes to the how, like if you don't have a plane and you want to get from Florida to Colorado, at least start walking, right? At least start taking those first baby steps. So there's two parts to action. Action, there's massive action, which I won't talk about because that's just the daily grind. That's just figuring out what those right activities are and doing them every day. That's the reps in the gym, right? That's just the reps. You just got to show up, do the reps, right? Every day. And then over time, you get the results. The other part of action is called immediate action. And here's where I want to challenge you guys. What is one thing you can do, one small little thing you can do today to get you closer to that goal you set in question number one? One small little thing. Doesn't have to be big, right? So let's say you want to lose weight. That's the most popular New Year's goal. You want to lose weight. What can you do right now to move 1 inch, 1 millimeter closer to your goal of losing X number of pounds, 30 pounds, let's say? You could buy a gym membership, right? I'm sure you can still buy them even though they're closed. You can hire a personal trainer. You can go for a walk. You can go on Google and get a meal plan. You can do some push-ups, right? What's that one little thing? And I challenge you, go do that today after this conference, right? After these great speakers. So go do that today, and that'll get you 1 inch closer. And what that does is it starts to cement a little bit of success into your life. It starts to cement a little bit of success into your goal that you're looking to achieve. And it starts something called momentum. And momentum, guys, is magic. All right, last part of how you're going to get there is environment, right? Associations. They say you're going to be just like the 5 people you hang around with, the same level of mentality, same income, same views on politics and religion and all this kind of stuff. So your associations are so critical. What are you feeding yourself? And I don't mean through your pie hole. I don't mean through your mouth. I mean, that's important too. Don't get me wrong. What are you feeding your mind? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are you hanging around with? Right? And this is kind of like developing the soil of the growth of your goal, because your goal is a seed. It always starts as a seed, right? And you put the seed in the ground, and if that soil is nutrient filled, if it's positive, if it's serving you to move ahead, that seed will sprout and you'll have a harvest. If that soil is poisoned, if it's got a lot of negativity and skepticism and the world sucks and rich people are mean and this is bad and all that stuff, your seed's not going to grow. And it doesn't matter how great that seed is. It could be the best idea in the world. If your soil is poisoned, if your mindset is poisoned because of your associations and your environment, there's very little chance you're going to succeed. So those are the 3. All right, my last couple minutes. So here's the good news. The good news is, despite what you were told, New Year's is not January 1st. New Year's is right now. It's going back to the good morning thing. Make a decision. And here's my last challenge for everyone. My last challenge is to become a 1%er. Here's what I mean by that. I know sometimes I say the word 1%er and people immediately go towards the rich and they have that little distaste in their mouth, like, yeah, 1%ers, they're not very nice people. Well, besides that not being true and that being a belief that maybe doesn't serve you, being a 1%er, here's what I mean. If we get 1% better every day for an entire year, we're going to be 37 times better. 37x. If you can get 1% better in anything, even 1% better income, right? 1% better, improve your income by 1% a day, you'll have 37x the income by the end of the year. It could be, you can apply that to your health, to your career, to anything you want. So when I say be a 1%er, it's not about these huge goals and these big steps you got to take. It's just incrementally get a little bit better and better. As long as you're moving in the right direction, as long as you're putting the work in, you have to succeed. If you're heading in the right direction and you're moving that way and you're actually moving, don't you have to eventually cross the finish line? Isn't that a requirement? Short of death, short of you just dying, you have to finish. You have to get across that finish line. And that, my friends, is the biggest key to goal crushing. So I hope you guys took some notes. I hope this was worth your time. I hope you got at least one nugget. I know I threw a lot of information out there, but if you want to get in touch with me or just say hi or learn more, online, social media, Broke is No Joke is, you find that if you see Broke is No Joke on any of your favorite social media, it's me, it's us, or brokeisnojoke.org. and reach out, say hi. Let me know what you thought about what we talked about here, goal crushing. If you want to dive deeper, I've got courses, I've got other things that can help you guys. And if anyone's been affected by COVID-19, I'm actually offering my goal crushing course for free through the end of May, just as a way to give back. If you've been affected in a negative way, you've lost your job, you're a healthcare worker, if you want to take advantage of this, it's a fully online self-paced course, and it goes far deeper than what I was able to do here. Please go to brokeisnojoke.org. You'll see the application for that. Go fill it out and get access to the course, and let me know how I can help. I love you guys. God bless, and enjoy the rest of the seminar.